From the parking lot, turn left onto Clayton Road. Then make a left onto Shetler Road. Keep going straight for about 4 miles. Then make another right onto Chesterfield Parkway East. You will take this road for half a mile. Then make a right onto Olive Boulevard. Drive for a third of a mile and Faust Park will be on your left. The Sophia M. Sachs Butterfly House and Education Center opened on September 18, 1998, on about 1.5 acres leased from the park. The buildings were designed by Christner Incorporation. Originally owned by an independent nonprofit organization, the Butterfly House became a division of the Missouri Botanical Garden, effective July 2, 2001. The site includes an outdoor butterfly garden and 2 large sculptures by St. Louis sculptor Robert Castley.
So, what is the park named after?
Okay, the park is actually named after Lester and Mary Faust, who donated the land to the county.
What year was that?
There's 2 different years. This half of the park was donated in 1968. The other half of the park, which is where the Webster School of Music is, was donated in 98.
Okay. When did, and how big was the park?
Right now it's 200 acres.
Oh, okay. And then what was the park originally before it was known as a park?
Okay, so the Faust owned it from the early 1900s till 68 and then 98 for that side, and they ran it as a farm. What it originally was the home of Frederick Bates, who was the 2nd governor of the state of Missouri.
Oh, okay. And then are there any documented or undocumented stories of the park or the historical homes are haunted? No? Okay.
Behind the camera, the St. Louis County Park Administration's policy that they will not disclose, admit, nor decline any spiritual entities that have allegedly occurred on any park grounds.
So, how are who are the Bush family that were here?
Lester Faust was a Bush. His mother is the youngest daughter of, I can't remember his first name. Mr.
So
Bush.
did he marry to the Bates family?
No. The Bates and the Faust family are not related. The Bates family sold the property in the late 1800s to the Eisenhart family, who sold it in the early 1900s to the Faust family.
Okay. And then, what are the different sites that are on the
Okay, we have Thornhill, which is the governor's house that sits in the back of the park. That was built sometime between 1815 and 1819. He lived there through his being governor because the capital was in St. Charles, right across the river. We also have a historic village, which we have moved all of those properties in, or the homes and the buildings, from around St. Louis County to save them from being demolished. Then we have the Faust Estate side, which they built in the early 1900s, and it's kind of a very southwest feel on that, so it doesn't fit any of the area,
Yeah.
it seems like. We also have the St. Louis Carousel, which was originally at the Forest Park Highlands, and then we have the Butterfly House, which is ran by the Missouri Botanical Gardens.
Okay. Well, that's it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
The St. Louis Carousel was built in 1921 by the Denzel Company of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. In the spring of 1929, Forest Park Highlands on Oakland Avenue announced the installation of its new attraction, the $30,000 St. Louis Carousel. Visited annually by school children on their school field trips, the carousel features 60 hand-painted horses, 4 reindeer with authentic deer antlers, and 2 carriages. When the amusement park was destroyed by fire in 1963, the St. Louis Carousel escaped major damage. In order to keep the carousel in the St. Louis area, it was purchased by a St. Louisan, Howard C. Ohlendorf. In 1965, Mr. Ohlendorf donated the carousel to the St. Louis County Department of Parks and Recreation. In 1986, the carousel made its debut at its current location, Fowles Park in Chesterfield, Missouri. Spanning a period from 1840 to 1910, the historical villages represents a cross-section of architectural styles and building materials. All the houses were moved into Fowles Park from the surrounding area and saved from probable demolition.
Cap in a stem, catch a wave on us. Take a shot, make a friend, just enjoy the moment. Blue sky walking on these haters. Celebrate every day like a birthday.
So, as you can see, these are like all of the like historical homes that were actually moved and placed on the park grounds. And as the lady said, this park has about 200 acres. So, it's a pretty big, massive land they have. This one specifically is Mert's Cabin.
Say stay in your lane, boy. We go where we want to. They think this thing is a highway. But they may laugh tomorrow. They think this thing is a highway. If it was our way, we'd have a tempo change every other time change. Cause our minds change on what we think is good. I wasn't raised in the hood, but I know a thing or two about pain and darkness. If it wasn't for this music, I don't know how I would have fought this. Regardless, all these songs I'm hearing are so heartless. Don't trust a perfect person and don't trust a song that's flawless. Honest, there's a few songs on this record that feel common. I'm in constant confrontation with what I want and what is popping in the industry. It seems to me that singles on the radio currency, my creativity's on free when I'm playing shows. They say stay in your lane, boy. But we go where we want to. They think this thing is a highway. But they may laugh tomorrow. Sorry for question that ass last. Scared you a bit like an ass back in a gas mask. If you ass sack, my brother relax in the rat way. Back to this. Would you live in a foreign list? Promise. So nonetheless it exists. You know really once I think about this, we get sanity, we get salary, we get vanity, we get morality. When you get in between someone I live in me, you're gonna feel the heat of my cavalry. All these songs I'm hearing are so heartless. Don't trust a perfect person and don't trust a song that's flawless. They say stay in your lane, boy. But we go where we want to. They think this thing is a highway. But they may laugh tomorrow. They say stay in your lane, boy. But we go where we want to. They think this thing is a highway. But they may laugh tomorrow.
somebody that knows somebody that knows something about it. And I want answers now. Who, what, where, and why? See, a lot of dudes like to act the fool now. Get on live, but that ain't my style. Now who he gon' get and what he gon' do? Run up on me if you want to. Hot damn pressing his homies. He's done up in front of his mama. I'm up the floor with him. And I kick in the door and let the fofo get him. I got fools that'll go get him. That's for him and Pooh and the dudes that run with him.
Through the bequest of Mary Plant Faust, the park doubled in size following her death in 1986 at the age of 95. Included in the newer acquisition are the main house, a secondary residence, and a dovecot designed in Pueblo Revival style by St. Louis Tom P. Barnett and built in 1919. The house was enlarged in the present maintenance building erected in 1935 to 1936 to designs of Merritt's, Young and Dussard. Also included on this property are an iron and glass greenhouse fabricated by Lord and Burnham and a barn built in 1925 using the Lamella Truss structural system. This was the first building in the St. Louis area to use the system. The residence is currently under lease to the Webster University Community Music School.